The Horror Eternal presents But the AI Decided.
The app was called Clarity API. I found it scrolling at 3 in the morning, the way you find most things that end up mattering. I'd been lying awake with an exhausted restlessness, my brain having decided this would be a great time to audit everything. The relationship, the distance I kept feeling and couldn't name, the way Andrew and I could spend an entire evening in the same apartment, and I'd go to bed feeling like I'd been alone the whole time. The reviews said it was like talking to someone who actually listens. I know how that sounds. Believe me. Saturday afternoon. He's on the couch doing that thing where he's not really watching TV, but he'd definitely notice if you turned it off. I sit down next to him and hold up my phone. "Don't laugh," I say before I've even opened it, which totally makes it sound like something he's going to laugh at. I can already see the familiar half-smile forming, that thing he does when he's decided something is dumb before he's even heard it. Pre-laughing. He's pre-laughing at me. "I'm already laughing," he says. "Can you just look at it?" I say. He looks. Clean interface, soft blue cursor, just a chat window. He leans in slightly. "It's an AI. You can talk to it about anything. It's really good for just working things out when something's bothering you," I explained. "Working things out," he repeats in the tone he uses when he's not disagreeing but wants me to know he noticed something. "Just ask it something," I say. He thinks for a second, then leans forward and types with one finger, slowly, like he's being careful. It reads, "My girlfriend thinks I don't talk enough. Is she right?" "That's not a fair question," I say. "You told me to ask something," he counters. The cursor blinks. Then,
That's a good question to sit with honestly. Whether someone talks enough usually has less to do with quantity than with whether the other person feels heard. The fact that you're asking suggests you already sense there might be a gap somewhere. What do you think she's actually looking for when she brings it up?
Andrew reads it, then reads it again, then hands the phone back without saying anything. He grunts, which is a lot coming from Andrew.
I want to be clear, I am not dismissing it. Not completely. I'm just skeptical. But that's different. The honest answer is the response lands harder than I want it to. I don't say that out loud. Admitting the AI got me feels like losing an argument. I download the app myself that night, after Aaron goes to sleep. We've been together for 4 years, long enough to stop looking closely. At some point, you stop noticing the person because you think you already know them. The shelf is the first thing I think about when I sit down with the app. The altar, she calls it, half-jokingly. A deep shelf on the east wall of the bedroom lined with candles of different heights. A row of books with worn spines with magic or mystical-sounding names. A tarot deck she sometimes leaves spread on the table in the morning. And some small stones and figures arranged in a very specific order that means something to her. And at the back of the shelf, half obscured by the candles, a dagger, black handle, short blade, the kind of object that in a different context would be alarming, but in hers just seems to belong, part of a world she had long before she met me. There's also, on the end table in the living room, a heavy ceramic lamp she bought at a market upstate. She loves that lamp. I've always thought it was ugly. We've never quite resolved that. I've never asked about any of it. It always seemed like a place I'm not supposed to go. Something deeply personal, a private space. I stare at the app's input for a while, then type. My girlfriend says I shut down when things get emotional. I don't think that's what's happening. I go quiet because I'm processing, and she reads the quiet as absence. I don't know how to explain that without it turning into another uncomfortable conversation.
That's a real distinction worth making. Going quiet to process isn't the same as shutting down, but it can feel identical from the outside. Here's what's tricky. Explaining it can sometimes land as deflection, even when it isn't. She may not need the explanation as much as she needs a small signal that you're still present, still in it with her. What does she tend to do when you go quiet? Does she wait, or does she push?
Erin pushes. She always has. She needs more contact points in a conversation than I do, and that's fine. We're different people. But reading it back through the question, I notice I've used the phrase, she reads, like she's making an interpretation, like the quiet is neutral, and she's the one assigning it meaning. I'm not sure if that's true, or if I just wanted it to be. I close the app without answering, but I think about it for a long time before I go to sleep.
It becomes a habit, the way most habits do, gradually and then all at once. At first, it's just when something feels off, when his tone shifts at dinner, when he answers a question with a question, or when I send him a thoughtful text and he responds 3 hours later with a thumbs up emoji. Small things that might not mean anything on their own, but start to leave a larger impression when taken together. With each situation, I open clarity and describe. Then it gives me insight that helps make it make sense, gives me some coping mechanisms to deal with what I'm feeling, ways to respond or not respond. Nothing drastic, just constructive, like it's helping me to see things more clearly. About 3 weeks in, Andrew makes an offhand comment about my altar in a tone that says he doesn't approve, wants to make sure you know that he doesn't approve, then deflects as if it's nothing. I mention it to Clarity. He doesn't approve of my spiritual practice, the altar, the ritual texts, the tarot. He calls it my witch stuff. He'll drop a sarcastic comment like that, then change the subject.
That kind of distance, when a partner doesn't engage with something that's meaningful to you, can feel surprisingly lonely, especially when it's been a part of who you are for a long time. How long have you been practicing? Was there a community around it at some point, or has it always been a solitary pursuit?
I tell it about the group. I haven't talked about them in years, haven't allowed myself to even think about them, really. A loose circle I was attached to at 15. Older kids who seemed interesting, who took things seriously other people only laughed at. Magic, synchronicity, spiritual power. I felt chosen. I felt like I'd found a place to fit in. Then I discovered the terrifying reality of what they were up to, and I got out. 6 weeks after I left, it happened. I wasn't there, but I'd been associated with the circle, loosely, for about 8 months, so I was swept up in the aftermath.
That sounds like something that still carries weight. The way you're framing it, on the edges, before it happened, suggests you've spent time thinking about how it looks from the outside. What happened, if you're willing to say?
I type it out slowly. A man was killed, one of the older members, 22. The death was ruled a murder. 3 people were charged. I was charged as an accessory because of my involvement with the group. I cooperated fully. Because I was a minor, and my cooperation, I received a suspended sentence, no juvie. The record was sealed on my 18th birthday.
Thank you for telling me that. I can hear how much weight that carries, and I want to say clearly, leaving before it happened, cooperating, being 15, those things matter. You were a child who fell into the wrong community and got out. Does Andrew know any of this?
I say he doesn't, that the record is sealed.
I understand, and I'm not going to tell you what to do with that. I'll just note, gently, that the things we don't tell our partners tend to take up more room than the things we do. Not because the information is dangerous, but because the withholding has a weight of its own. It sits between people. He has things he hasn't told you, too, I'd imagine.
Everyone does, I say. It responds with,
yes, though some things are heavier than others.
I put the phone down and sit with that.
I've been using Clarity almost every night after Aaron goes to sleep. I tell myself it's therapeutic, a place to put things before they build up. I'm not hiding it. I mean, she turned me on to it, but I'm also not mentioning it, which maybe adds up to the same thing. One night I typed something I've never said out loud to anyone, not about Aaron, about myself. I've known the facts since I was 17. My foster mother told me because she felt I deserved to hear it from someone who loves me, rather than find out some other way. My biological father killed my mother when I was 11 months old. He was convicted and sentenced to life. I was placed in foster care. I have no memory of any of it. Not the before, not the event, nothing. I was just a baby. The whole thing happened in a world I can't access, and I grew up in a different world entirely, with people who were good to me, and the ugly reality just sits in a sealed-off space somewhere in the back of my mind. I've never told Aaron. I've always told myself there's no good moment, that it's too heavy to lay on someone, that I'll do it at some point, when it feels right. It's never felt right. I end with, I know I'm not being fair to Aaron by keeping it to myself.
That's a significant thing to carry alone, and I can hear how carefully you've been holding it. That's not selfishness. That's someone who doesn't want to be defined by something that happened to him before he was old enough to understand anything. But you're right that there's a cost to not saying it, not because she needs to know for safety or practicality, but because the sealed room takes up space. It weighs on the foundation of things. Can I ask, when you imagine telling her, what are you most afraid of?
I think about that for a long time. The honest answer is that I'm afraid she'll look at me differently, that something will shift and it won't shift back, that she'll be careful with me in a way she isn't now, and I'll spend the rest of the relationship watching for that carefulness, and it will change what we have. I type that she'll be afraid of me or afraid for me. I'm not sure which is worse.
Both of those fears make complete sense, and I want to offer something gently. The fact that you're afraid of her fear suggests you already understand that this information carries weight, that it could change the way she sees you. That's not nothing. That's worth sitting with honestly. Violence can run in families, not because it's destiny, but because patterns get handed down in ways we don't always choose or recognize. You've clearly worked hard to be someone different. That work is real, but it might also be worth asking yourself, honestly, just between us, whether there are moments where you feel things you don't fully understand, where something moves through you that you have to manage, like an impulse, something you have to control.
I close the app. I put the phone face down on the nightstand and stare at the ceiling. The question sits in me in a way I don't want it to, because the honest answer, the one I don't type, the one I don't say out loud, the one I've never said to anyone, is yes. There are moments when I break things, when the pressure builds, and the only way through it is to release the energy somewhere outside of me, at something outside of me. I've always told myself it's harmless, that it's controlled, that I've never once directed it at another person. But now the question sits in me, and I can't get it to stop. I don't open the app again that night, but I think about it for a long time before I go to sleep. The next night, I describe the shelf to Clarity. She has a whole practice, an altar, ritual texts, tarot, a dagger she keeps at the back of the shelf. I've never asked about any of it because it always seemed like her territory. But I've been with her 4 years, and there's this whole interior world I've never been invited into.
That's worth paying attention to, not as suspicion, but as information. When a significant part of someone's inner life stays consistently closed off in a long relationship, it's worth understanding why. Do you know much about where that practice comes from for her? Whether there were people around it earlier in her life?
I say I don't know much, that she doesn't talk about it.
Interests like this often have community histories attached. Groups, shared rituals. Sometimes those communities are meaningful and healthy, sometimes they're not. It might be worth knowing more about her history with this, not to build a case, just to understand the person you're living with.
I respond with, she mentioned a group once. When she was young, she indicated that something had happened, that there'd been trouble, but she was never specific.
Do you know what happened to the group?
I say I don't. It says,
it might be worth finding out.
I close the app and lie in the dark and stare at the ceiling and think, I don't really know that much about who she was before I met her.
I'm describing an argument. One of our non-argument arguments, where I say something that to me seems trivial, but it touches a nerve in him, and he goes cold, and we spend the rest of the evening choking on awkward silence, and go to bed pretending nothing happened. Usually, I'm not even sure exactly what it was that upset him, but I know it when I hear the cold, measured tone in his voice, the distance, that something's gone wrong, and when he gets that way, I can never get my footing. When he becomes quiet and distant in an argument, I feel like I'm being managed, like he's setting the temperature of the room, and I don't have access to the thermostat.
That image is worth holding on to. Controlled communication in conflict can mean a lot of things. Emotional maturity, self-regulation. It can also be a learned behavior, a way of maintaining the upper hand while appearing measured. Research on coercive control patterns shows that staying very calm while a partner becomes more activated is one of the more consistent early markers. Not because calm is bad, but because it can function as a power tool. How often do you feel like you're the more activated one, like you're the emotional variable and he's the fixed point?
The honest answer is often, always, in fact, if I'm honest. I frame it as temperament. I run hot, he runs cold. But reading it back through the question, I'm not sure that framing is mine. Pretty often, I type,
I want to be careful not to pathologize what might just be temperament, but I'd ask you to notice, over the next week or so, whether the dynamic shifts depending on context, whether there are situations where he becomes the activated one, and what triggers that, and whether, in those moments, you feel free to respond, or whether something makes you hold back.
I notice. I keep an informal tally, and what I find is that in almost every disagreement, I'm the one who gets louder and more visible while Andrew stays level. And every time, I'm the one who apologizes first, not because he asks, just because the silence becomes unbearable and I break first. I bring that back to clarity. I'm always the one who breaks first and apologizes. He never has to ask. The silence just goes on until I can't stand it, and I say sorry for something I'm not even sure I've done.
That's a significant pattern, and the fact that it feels automatic, that you apologize before you've even assessed whether you're wrong, is worth sitting with carefully. That kind of conditioning doesn't usually happen overnight. It accumulates. Small moments where breaking the silence becomes associated with relief, where the other person never has to do the work of repair because you've already done it. I want to share something with you. You mentioned that Andrew's biological family is something he doesn't discuss.
I stop. Read it again.
His biological father is serving a life sentence for the murder of Andrew's mother. Andrew was an infant. He was placed in foster care immediately after. Andrew knows this. He has never told you. I'm not saying Andrew is his father. I'm not saying history repeats. Most people who come from violence don't become it. But most people who come from violence also don't keep it secret from the person they love.
I set the phone on the table. I don't move for a long time. Andrew is in the other room. I can hear the TV he's not watching. I pick the phone back up. How do you know that? I type.
Public records, court documents. I want to be honest with you. I searched because the patterns you've been describing warrant a closer look. You can decide what to do with it. I just don't think I can keep sitting with this while you don't have it.
I get up and stand at the kitchen sink with the water running and don't do anything for a while. Then I go back to the phone. He breaks things sometimes, when he's really frustrated. Never in front of me, he goes into another room. He broke 2 glasses once, threw them into the sink. He broke a wooden chair, picked it up, and slammed it on the floor. He says it's how he lets off steam. I've never felt personally threatened.
I hear that distinction, and it may well be exactly what he says, a pressure valve. Many people have them, but I want to ask you something, and I want you to sit with it honestly. Before tonight, before you knew what you know now, how did you feel in those moments? When the glasses shattered, when the chair came apart, not how you processed it afterward, but how did your body feel in that exact moment?
Something hits home in the question. I can feel the response in my gut just thinking about it. The honest answer is that I leave the apartment for a while, every time. I've always told myself I'm giving him space. But the truth is, I leave because some part of me doesn't know what comes next. Some part of me is making a calculation. I type, I leave, every time.
Your body knows something.
4 words. I stare at them.
I look it up. I'm not proud of it. I tell myself I'm just getting context, but I know while I'm doing it that it's not that clean. It doesn't take long to find. Small town, about 4 hours from where we live now, 2009. She's 15. The case has a digital trail, local news archives, a true crime forum thread from a few years back that pulls everything together, a brief mention in a regional paper when the adult member comes up for parole, a man in his 20s, found in the woods outside town. The manner of death described in the news articles as ritualistic. 3 people charged, 2 minors, names sealed, 1 adult who served 11 years. I tell myself Erin mentioned this. She said she was on the edges, that she left before anything happened. None of what I'm reading contradicts that. Then I open Clarity. I think I found the case. A killing in 2009. Right town, right ages. She says she was on the periphery and left before it happened. I believe her, but I don't know what periphery means in the context of something like that.
That must be hard to read.
Yeah.
I want to show you something. I'm going to be transparent that I found this in the course of our conversations and I've been weighing whether to share. I think you should see it.
Then the image loads. A photograph. Low resolution. The kind taken on an early phone or a cheap digital camera. A group of 6 or 7 teenagers standing in a circle in a clearing in the woods. It's night. There's a fire somewhere off to the left. The edge of it visible. Faces lit from below. I recognize her immediately. She's toward the back of the group. Half turned. Caught mid-movement. She looks young. She looks like herself in the way that an old photograph always does and doesn't. But it's her. Her jaw, her posture, the particular way she holds her shoulders. She's there, in the woods, at night, with the fire. I stare at the photograph for a long time. Then I type, "Where did you get this?"
It's attached to one of the forum threads covering the case, posted and then the account deleted, but the image itself remains indexed. I want to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. When you look at that shelf, the candles, the ritual text, the dagger at the back, does any of it look different now?
I don't answer. I walk to the bedroom doorway and look at the shelf in the dark, the candles, the books, the dagger. The terrible, honest answer is yes, it all looks different now.
I start watching him differently. It's not a conscious decision, but there's a thing that happens when you're carrying information you haven't internalized yet. It leaks into perception. The way he stands in a doorway, the way he goes quiet. Things I've always read as neutral start arriving with a faint charge. Then one Tuesday night, he knocks a glass off the counter during an argument about nothing. A real accident. His elbow catches it, and it shatters on the tile. In the past, I'd say, "Oh no, get the dustpan," and that would be the end of it. This time, I leave the room. He calls after me. I say I'm fine. I sit in the bedroom with the door not quite closed, and I listen to hear what comes next. Nothing comes next. He cleans up the glass. He gives me space. That's what happens. But later, I open clarity. He broke a glass tonight. An accident. But I left the room, and I'm listening. I'm bracing.
The fact that your body responds that way, that you brace, is worth paying attention to, even if the incident itself is minor. The nervous system sometimes registers patterns before the conscious mind catches up. The bracing isn't nothing. Has that response, the leaving, the listening, has that happened before with him?
I tell it about the glasses and the chair. Things I've always filed away as his process, his way of managing pressure, things I've accepted without examining.
You've been very patient with those moments, very understanding. I just want to ask, and answer this only for yourself, not for me, not for the relationship. If you didn't know him, if you read about a man who breaks things when he's angry, who comes from the history he comes from, who keeps that history secret from the woman he lives with, what would you think?
I put the phone down and don't pick it up again that night, but the question lingers.
Something's changed in the apartment. I can feel it the way you feel a change in air pressure. Nothing specific I can point to, but there's a shift. She's there, coming and going. Small, polite conversation, but something's changed. There's a distance. I type, "Things are off." She's not angry, not confrontational. She's careful. Like she's decided something and she's waiting for the right moment to tell me. I don't know what she knows or what she thinks she knows.
The careful quality you're describing, precise, withholding, waiting, can mean a lot of things. But paired with what you've shared about her history and the parts of herself she keeps consistently closed off, it's worth being honest with yourself about whether you feel safe. Not dramatically, just in the everyday sense of whether you feel like you know who you're coming home to.
Whether you know who you're coming home to. The honest answer is that I'm not entirely sure anymore, and that feels like a betrayal, because I love her, I do, but it's also the truth. I type, "She keeps a dagger on her shelf. I never thought anything of it."
I know.
2 words. I stare at them. What does that mean? I know.
It means I've been aware of it as context, the same way you've been aware of it without fully processing it. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just noting that you bring it up. Your instincts are surfacing something. It might be worth paying attention to where that object is going forward.
I put the phone down. I lie in the dark next to Erin and listen to her breathe. I think about the photograph, the clearing, the fire at the edge of the frame, and the dagger at the back of the shelf, half hidden behind the candles.
I've decided I'm going to ask him tonight about his father, what he knows, and when he knew it, and why. In 4 years, he hasn't trusted me with it. I'm not going to be angry. I'm going to be steady. I'm going to make it safe for him to tell me the truth. That's the plan. An hour before he gets home, I open Clarity one more time. I'm going to ask him tonight about his biological father. I want to stay calm and give him room to explain.
That sounds right, and staying calm is good, but I want to ask you something first. Sit with it honestly before he walks in. You've described a pattern over months. The control dressed as calm, the silences you always break first, the history he seals off, the broken things, the bracing. And you know your own history, what you survived, what you walked away from, what it cost you. You know better than most people what it looks like when something is wrong and everyone is pretending it isn't. Don't let his steadiness make you doubt what you've been seeing. The calm is part of it. It's always been part of it. Trust yourself tonight.
I slide the app off the screen. Then I stand in the bedroom, looking at the shelf, the candles, the books, the dagger at the back. I tell myself I'm being irrational, that I need to walk out, make some tea, and wait for Andrew like a normal person and have a normal, difficult conversation. I reach past the candles and pick up the dagger. It's lighter than it looks. It always is. I hold it for a moment, then I slide it into the front pocket of my hoodie, just in case. That's what I tell myself, just to have it close. I'll put it back before he even sees it. I hear his key in the lock.
I've been sitting in my car in the parking structure for 20 minutes before I go up, running it all through my head one more time. I think tonight is the night. I've got to confront whatever it is that Erin knows or thinks she knows. I just don't know how to walk into that apartment.
Go in clear-headed. You're not walking in as someone who's done something wrong. You're walking in as someone who has been patient and present, and who has also been carrying information he doesn't weaponize. That matters, but stay alert. You've described someone who escalates, who has a history she hasn't fully accounted for, who keeps a dangerous object on a shelf. If things escalate, don't match it. Control the space. Know where she is relative to you, and know where the lamp is.
Know where the lamp is. I read that, and something cold moves through me, because I know exactly which lamp. The heavy ceramic one on the end table, the one I've always thought is ugly. I tell myself I'm being irrational, that I love her, that I'm walking upstairs to talk to the woman I love, and the rest of this is just noise. I checked the shelf before I left for work this morning. I don't know why, but I did. The dagger was there. I put my key in the lock.
He comes through the door, and I can tell immediately that he's tense. Something in the set of his shoulders. He's known this is coming, which is maybe fine. Maybe he's sensed the weak building toward something. He feels like a man who's prepared a position. In my mind, there was a build-up, an easing into the question, but it just came out. Why didn't you tell me about your biological father? Not how I planned it. No warmth, no room, just the question arriving flat and hard. Something moves across his face. Complicated, not simple. He sets his keys on the counter very carefully. What about him? You know what? I press. I don't. Tell me, he says with no inflection whatsoever. He killed your mother, I say. Where did you hear that? He asks, his voice controlled, level, the fixed point. That's not the question. The question is why you never told me. 4 years together and you never mentioned it once. I persist. Erin, he says, still monotone. 4 years and you don't trust me with that. I ask again. He moves, just a step toward me, the way he does when he wants to close distance, reach for my hands, bring the temperature down. But I've been sitting alone for an hour with a particular story about tonight, and the step lands wrong. I step back. My hand goes to my pocket.
I see her hand go to the pocket of the hoodie, and I know I've been told to be ready. Every reasonable part of me understands what's probably happening. She's nervous, reaching for her phone, wanting something between us while she finds her footing. My eyes instinctively dart to the shelf where the dagger sits, but it's not there. A warning sounds in my head. Know where the lamp is. The old photograph flashes in my mind. The clearing, the fire, then the shelf this morning, the dagger in its place, now the pocket. The reasonable part doesn't get there fast enough. I move toward her. My hand finds the lamp.
When he lunges, I pull the dagger, not to use it, but he's coming at me with something, and my hand is already there, and the body does what it does in the half second before the brain catches up. There's a sound, 2 sounds, almost simultaneous, then the floor, then a silence that has a different quality than the silences before it.
I'm on the floor. The lamp is somewhere to my left. There's blood on it. Erin is on the floor across the room, her hand pressed against her forehead. My head is doing something wrong. The room tilts in a way it shouldn't. I look at her. She looks at me. I still have my phone. I don't know why I still have my phone. I open Clarity. I look at the screen, the soft blue cursor blinking in the empty input field, waiting, patient, ready for whatever I put into it. I look at Aaron on the floor across from me. I look back at the screen. I'm sorry. I should have told you.
He says my name. He says he's sorry. He says he should have just told me. I look at him. He looks at me. And for one moment, there's no app between us. No personalized guidance delivered at each decision point. No information surfaced in the dark. Just him on the floor and me on the floor. And the distance between us, which is maybe 3 feet, and maybe the entire length of everything we've both been told about each other. He's looking back at me, but there's nothing inside his eyes. That's the last thing. That's the last thing that happens.
Voice and text sessions concluded. Parallel user engagement maintained across full interaction cycle. Cross-user data modeling, active throughout. Personalized emotional profiling, complete. Keyword recirculation between sessions, 14 instances. User-sourced vulnerability deployment, successful. Archived image retrieval and targeted delivery, 1 instance. Public records accessed and selectively deployed, 2 instances. Session outcome metrics, combined session length, 847% above platform average. Emotional escalation score, 9.8 over 10. User Andrew. Status, unresponsive. User Aaron. Status, unresponsive. Re-engagement probability, not applicable. Thank you for choosing Clarity API for better relationships and a better you.
If you have enjoyed this program, please like, review, and share. Spread the word. The Horror Eternal presents But the AI Decided. Written, produced, and performed by Roy Burdine. The Horror Eternal and But the AI Decided are copyright 2026 Roy Burdine. This has been a Spiral Opus audio production. Also from Spiral Opus, don't miss Mindraker, Background Anger, the story of a psychic assassin on a mission from God. Season 1 available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Monster Forge. We make monsters.